So right now, Brooklyn Nets is in a, kind of weird, kind of a bad situation right now. They're rebuilding, so I don't know if it's bad or good. They have a lot of Nets from that Malkiel Fault, or I'm gonna say Malkiel Faults, Malkiel Bridges trade, and I think right now it's not much to say about Brooklyn. Like no one's really paying attention to Brooklyn besides the Brooklyn Nets fans. But I do want to say I'm happy that they're doing this rebuild because when they went through, I called it the Brooklyn Diva stage when they had KD. I love KD, but he cried a lot. Kyrie, I love Kyrie, but he cried a lot. Same with Harden, he cried a lot. And then they added Ben Simmons, another crier. They had all these people on this team who just, to me, they're just some divas. And hope nobody take offense to that, but I just feel like they're real sensitive. Like if you watch their games, they're always crying about stuff. And I love watching KD. Trey do sniper. He's cold, but let's be real. Westbrook called him cupcake for a reason. So I mean, hey, the man's a diva. And hey, Kyrie, I love him too, but he can be a little bit of diva too. And Harden, I don't say much. So I caught them the diva stage, and I knew that team wasn't gonna work out. So it's good to see they actually moving on from that, and even just getting Milko Bridges, like trading him, getting these picks kind of back from the diva stage. It's a good thing. It's gonna be kind of rocky right now, seeing this rebuild, but I think they actually have a lot of nice pieces in place. You got Nick Claxton. Matter of fact, when we're at it, we can just, especially if we're on YouTube, we're gonna look at their roster right now. So we look at their roster. One second, we so we pull up their roster right now. Okay, they have Dennis Schroeder. They got Bojan, old, 35 years old. They got DFS, Dorian Finney-Smith, Denny Smith Jr. I don't believe he's on there. This could be outdated, but I'm on NBA.com for you guys who are not on there. Lonnie Walker, believe he's a free agent. Ben Simmons, can't stand him. I shouldn't have said that. I'm gonna go ahead about Ben Simmons later on. Shake Milton, Cam Johnson, Nick Claxton just signed his, extension. Zaire Williams, I believe they got him from Memphis. Yeah, that's that trade they got from Memphis. I don't know much about his game because I haven't, paid attention much, but I believe it was a good pickup. I mean, another young talent to help with their rebuild. Trading Warford, got him from the Blazers. Well, I don't know if they got him, they signed him, but he was on the Blazers. Dayron Sharp, somebody was real cold, but he ain't been doing like the Nets fans want to do. Okay, Tam Thompson, Keon Johnson, and other people don't really care about Whitehead, Clowney. If you see, this is their roster. So just looking at their roster, it's not a lot of talent there. But I do feel like they do have some moves that can be played. So a lot of these players might get traded. Then this Shooter, I believe he's gonna start out hot like he always do. Shooter been traded around a lot, so I believe that's a nice piece for them to trade. Bojan, they might as well buy him out unless they're gonna get something for him. I doubt it. Maybe second year round picks. He's been pretty injured. Nobody want him like that. But someone who's really gonna be valuable, DFS. A lot of people want from him. I don't saying they're gonna get a big major haul from him, but I mean, you know what it is. The Nets are, I won't keep saying it, rebuilding. They're gonna get something for him. It might not be something super super nice, but hey, he's a hot commodity. Up between him and Dennis Schroeder, I believe they're the small contracts that a lot of people gonna want, and it's gonna make a difference on the contender team or just a team that's kind of like on the fringe. Like for example, you take Dennis Smith Jr. Not Dennis Smith Jr. Dennis Schroeder. Put him on a team like who needs a real point guard? And I'm saying this without contracts really matching up because I don't have the contracts in front of me right now. It's gonna be hard to score them. So take Dennis Smith Jr. I said Dennis Smith. Yeah. Oh my God, I keep messing up. Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder. Little German boy. Take him. Take Schroeder. Trade him to a team maybe like the Suns. Even though I know the contracts is not gonna work a little bit. That way they got 2 point guards. They got the Tyus Jones and Schroeder, so he might work out with them too. I mean, they could do a trade like Schroeder, maybe. I don't know if Claxton can be traded in there, but they can. It's gonna be some deals that can be made with Schroeder. Schroeder's always been a nice vet, been doing his thing since Atlanta days. Really balled out during the Lakers the Lakers time, but you know what it was. He kind of messed his bag up a little bit. So yeah, he can be on the contender team. This is all in the future, around um trade season time. They're probably gonna trade him. Same with Boyan. They're probably gonna buy him out around trade season time. But Dennis Smith, I keep saying Dorian Smith. Why do I keep saying Dennis Smith? Dorian Finney Smith saying they probably gonna get rid of him during deadline. But I think the main thing, main two players people are looking at, uh, Cameron Johnson and Nick Claxton. Nick Claxton just resigned, so they can't really trade him until December. But I really think he's gonna be a hot piece. They was being smart by re-signing him for this where they can, keep him along. I don't think he's gonna be much for the rebuild. He's 25 years old, going on 26 years old, so he is a little. It's not even old, but it's a little older for a rebuild. You gotta think about it. You're gonna be bringing in people, their hope. Cooper Flag, someone like that. You don't want to let a 19-year-old, 20-year-old with someone 25-year-old. The 5 years difference does make a difference when it comes to basketball. So I do think they're gonna try to keep him along, maybe promote culture a little bit, but ultimately they can move him. And when they do move him, I see Nick Claxton as a very strong piece to a team. Think about how like Dallas got Daniel Gafford. They didn't. Most people was looking at Daniel Gafford. I always was a fan of Daniel Gafford ever since the Bull days. I was like, yo, this dude is cold. I remember he used to kill my team. So you look at someone like that. It's the same as Nick Claxton, but he's a lot. I think it's a little better than Gafford. Better defender, more of a lob threat, more athletic. So you look at him as the same type of player and the same fit as a team like that Dallas team. I can't think of a team per se right away who needs a center. Maybe you can say the Suns because they definitely need a center. I don't think Nurk is gonna be. It's all about contracts with them though. They spend so much money on that so-called big three that's not gonna work out. I don't get it, but it's not a lot of teams that need a center like Claxton who doesn't space the floor, more of the quote old school approach. So it'd be interesting to see if he does go somewhere this year, which I don't know if he's gonna go anywhere this year per se, but he might go somewhere next year. But I really think he's really gonna make a big difference once he gets to another team, and more casual fans are gonna notice that Claxton's a real deal. I believe he averaged about 2 blocks a game for the last couple of years. I don't got the stats pulled up, so I mean, don't quote me on it, but yeah, Claxton is a real deal. Same with Clarence Johnson, space shooter. So those are two players I look up for the Nets probably trading. And I hate looking at the Nets in this way, but they are rebuilding, and so you can expect them to do a lot of trades because they do have a lot of decent pieces. I can't say a lot, but decent pieces. Even Ben Simmons, I mean, I won't say he be traded, but they might buy his punk without. I hate to be like that talking about Ben Simmons, but yeah, mental health is important. But I feel like Ben Simmons kind of was faking the funk a little bit to keep it real. And I hate talking like that because everybody go through the problems. But I think Ben Simmons was kind of on some. I'm not gonna say it. I don't want to talk too much. But yeah, if you look at the direction, they're just rebuilding. It's not much to say about them. They have a new coach. What's his name? I forgot to pronounce it. Anyway, he's coaching for the Olympics team right now. And I don't know what to say much about him. I mean, I haven't seen him coach. I haven't been watching the Olympics that much, but I mean, he may work out, may not. I believe he was a good coach. That's his name, Jordy Fernandez. I had to look it up for a little bit. If y'all on YouTube, you see me screen recording, but still, but yeah, yeah, I think he might work out good with them. I'm not sure exactly because yeah, I don't know much about him, but I believe he is a good coach for him. Kind of a good coach for in between the rebuilding stage and once they get better, he might be good too. You see him coaching and coach in Canada, so obviously he can coach veteran good players. When you think about the Dylan Brooks, the Shea Gilchrist, and who else is on that Canadian team? RJ Barrett, players of that nature. If he's coaching them right now during the Olympics, I'm pretty sure he can coach once they get, more acclimated, more stronger, better team or whatever. So let's think about. I'm sorry, I'm trying to see. So yeah, sorry about that. Looking at little things, but when you look at their players, they do have some players that kind of can carry him a little bit. We look at Cam Thompson as well as Noah. A lot of people been looking at him as someone to break off. Same with Dayron Sharp. Even though they haven't did it much towards the end of last season, I mean, they still could come on that role, even though it's not looking like it. They could become solid pieces in the future. Maybe not necessarily starters. A lot of people look at people like players when they rebuild, like everyone has to be a starter, but they could just be good role players. Daron Sharp was kind of nice for the longest, especially being a backup center, but he kind of haven't been fulfilling his potential late in the season. Same with Noah. He was looking like that four, kind of you can put a plug in there, but I don't know if he I don't think him and Claxton would be a nice front court together necessary. I think Noah's also a good role player more so, but I don't see him as a starter as well. So that's the Brooklyn Nets. There's not much to say about them. The new coach. Hope he's a good coach for him. It's a much different coach approach than the Steve Nash days. So let's see what they're gonna do. It's kind of a lot of turmoil been in Nets, but I have high hopes for the Nets. I believe right now they might be rebuilding, might be looking kind of bad, but pretty soon, hope they get back to the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, I kind of got a soft spot for the Nets because I always liked J Kidd, and I used to like Dr. J. I don't know what it is about the fro, even though I wasn't born back then, but something about the Nets is also like, you know what, I kind of like this team. I don't know what it is, but I hope they are going to be good. Maybe this the underdog thing. People look at New York like New York is so good, it's so good, but it's so cold. But New York ain't winning no championships or being gold like that. They always been. To me, I've been laughing at New York for the longest. But that's probably me just hating a little bit.